Battle Bill here with another video, getting some more Season 12 Go Battle League battles, these taking place in the Open Master League meta. In today's video, we're going to answer the question, is Ice Technoblast Genesect the best Technoblast version of Genesect to have actual success in some Open Master League battles? According to PV Poke, it is, and if you don't know about Technoblast, it is a strong charge move in Pokemon Go PvP battles, 120 damage for 55 energy, and it covers an array of different typings. The ones that we have in Pokemon Go as we speak is Fire, Electric, Normal, Ice, and Water, and the homie B Richly, a fellow PvPer of the community, submitted us some battles to see how well it can perform on this following team of 3, and we have a nice collection of battles, as I said the first second time. So let's jump right into it and see how well he was able to perform at Legend Elo on top of it. So thank you so much for the submission, B Richly. I'm super excited to check these battles out. And as you'll notice on screen, his Zekrom is throwing a charge beam at the current moment, but on the actual screen, the graphic that I got going on here, his Zekrom will be running Dragon Breath for the remaining battles. He forgot the TM from when he used his Zekrom in raids, so that's why there's Charge Beam still on this. Also, as we continue to get into these battles, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's begin the commentary. So, in this matchup, Charge Beam is already holding back the Zekrom, but you know what? At least he was able to get to 2 charge moves. He threatened to shield. He's throwing a Wild Charge at the Theory and Landorus for some singularly resisted damage, then save swapping into his Genesect. Again, X-Scissor is going to be the cheaper move. That's going to be essentially the bait move for Genesect in these scenarios, whereas Technoblast is going to be hitting for, maximum damage, but non-stab. At least X-Scissor, being the bug typing, is stab because Genesect is a bug steel type Pokemon. They then come in with the Yveltal after he's able to X-Scissor down the Theory and Landorus, and now because he has Ice Technoblast, he can boom it for some huge damage. That was actually an insane amount. Not going to commit the shield here because Genesect already did plenty for its job, and he's going to come in with Zacian, and he's able to not only win a match with Ice Technoblast on his Genesect, but also Charge Beam Zekrom. New meta confirmed, opponent top lefts. Getting into the next match, honestly, Charge Beam Zekrom might not have been too terrible for that lead matchup. The opponent then save swaps into their own Zekrom. He matches with his Genesect. They're getting to a charge move here. Has to worry about either the Wild Charge or the Crunch hitting for neutral damage. Wild Charge debuffs the Zekrom. Crunch could have potentially debuffed his Genesect. The opponent is now farming up to another move as he's throwing an X-Scissor at the debuffed Zekrom's health. He's going for back-to-back. Does not need super effective Ice Technoblast on this Zekrom because of the fact that the Zekrom debuffed itself from the Wild Charge. Unfortunately though, because X-Scissor's not that great of a move, it is not able to take out the Zekrom's remaining health. Genesect is forced to eat a Wild Charge. Genesect's going to eat a Genesect. He's forced to eat a Wild Charge there, and then he comes in with his Ho-Ho to incinerate down the Zekrom's remaining health. So he's in a good spot here because he's playing the Ho-Ho mirror with an energy advantage, going immediately for the Brave Bird, gonna do maximum damage but debuff his own defenses. The opponent then comes in with their Dialga. He gets to a Sacred Fire in time, gonna land some strong neutral damage against their Dialga if they don't shield. They decide to shield. He comes in with his own Zekrom and then gets the attack debuff on the opposing Dialga. So that could be huge for his Zekrom to get to 2 charge moves instead of potentially getting Dragon Breath all the way down. He's going for his first Crunch for the neutral damage. Does a good chunk, a little bit more than half of the remaining health, maybe, or gonna need to hope to try and Dragon Breath all the way down, and is able to before the Dialga gets to another charge move. The Zekrom gets to a Wild Charge, and this will take out the Ho-Ho's remaining health to win him back-to-back matches to start this set. Again, I cannot stress enough, he's already winning, popping off pretty well, and honestly, Genesect is ranked relatively high with Ice Technoblast, so maybe you can consider it meta, but I think the jury's still out. Either way, it's still performing really well, and we're not seeing a bunch of people running it, so that's the important thing, and I'm super excited. So let's get into this next matchup. We had a bad lead. He save swaps into his Genesect, lands a Technoblast on the Dialga for some strong neutral damage. The Dialga is going for an Iron Head for some resisted damage, but because Genesect is a relatively glassy mon, he throws up the shield. Because the Dialga is low in health, he's going to be going for back-to-back X-Scissors. The first one does not take out. Unfortunately, unable to Fury Cut the Dialga's remaining health there. Gonna have to take an Iron Head to the face, but is still able to farm down at the very least, and will most likely get to another charge move. Ends up getting to another Ice Technoblast for some strong neutral damage onto the Zacian. Either way, the opponent still has 2 shields, so he has to play the remaining matchups carefully. The Zacian's getting to another charge move here, or getting to their first charge move here, going to be a wild charge. They then dip out into their Giratina. He's going to throw a Brave Bird, do some heavy damage against their Giratina Origin, and then dip out personally, and he's going to be able to align his Zekrom onto the opponent's Giratina Origin. So he's got Zekrom here, and he's got his Ho-Ho on their Zacian, so he's sitting in a pretty good spot as long as he can overfarm a good amount and potentially farm all the way down to throw back-to-back wild charges at the Zacian. I think that's exactly the play he's going to go for, because one will get the shield, the other one will potentially take out the remaining health, should take out the remaining health, and this match is all but over. Going for the first wild charge, the opponent doesn't understand that the Zekrom has a bunch of energy, going for the second one, and GG's to his opponent for the win in this matchup. Getting into the next match, we have Zekrom on a Giratina Origin lead, a positive lead here, another alignment of those 2 mons. The opponent save swaps in Excadrill. He then comes in with his Ho-Ho. The opponent throws on bad timing. He's able to sneak an entire Incinerate through, which is going to be huge. Probably going to just commit to an Incinerate farm down. No, decides he does not want to commit both shields here. Going to throw the Sacred Fire, potentially get a shield from the Excadrill or take out remaining health. He does get the shields. The opponent gets to another charge move. It's going to be a Rock Slide. Will it one-shot the Ho-Ho? It does not. He recognizes his situation and is able to win the one-shield scenario, even being at a potential disadvantage with having to take double super effective Rock Slides. The Giratina Origin comes back into Shadow Claw, farm the Ho-Ho all the way down. He's going for a big Brave Bird. Will it land? It does. It does about 2/3 of the Giratina Origin's remaining health, and he does not want to get farmed down, so he swaps back into his Zekrom. It gets met by a Dialga, which is not the most ideal, but at the very least, the Giratina Origin is not able to farm his Ho-Ho all the way down and is lacking a bunch of health. So hopefully the Genesect can clutch here, may need to catch, at least has a shield advantage in this scenario. What will he do? Will he build all the way up to the Techno Blast? Based on what we've seen in the previous matchups of Genesect on Dialga, I think that's going to need to be the play, unless he just overfarms so much that he puts it in Fury Cutter range. He's not taking the chance, goes for the Ice Techno Blast, going to take out the Dialga's remaining health, fully expecting the Giratina Origin to come back in, should survive a Shadow Ball, goes for the catch instead to be safe, maybe doesn't survive because Genesect is glassy and Shadow Ball hits hard. What a play. The opponent undercharges it, but is not able to do little enough damage to get in the farm, and the opponent top lefts because they did not want to get Ice Techno Blasted by a Genesect to lose the match. Getting into the next match, we have Zekrom on a Therian Landorus lead. The opponent is going for the charge move first. It's going to be a superpower. He decides to shield. The opponent then safe swaps into their own Zekrom. He's going for a crunch. Will he stay in this matchup, or will he swap and try to keep some form of alignment? It seems like he's staying in this matchup, and because he landed the crunch, he could commit another shield and Dragon Breath down to keep alignment, but because he's at a shield disadvantage, he's just opting not to do so. Going to come in with his Genesect, going to go for the Fury Cutter down. What an insane play. And if the Therian Landorus comes in, it will be extremely surprised by an Ice Techno Blast one-shotting it. He expects the opponent to know better though, so he's throwing the X Scissor, does get the opponent's first shield. The question becomes, oh, he's going for back-to-back X Scissors, not even baiting the Techno Blast. So what is going to happen here? It still gets the opponent's shield. They have no idea where their energy's at. I fully do not expect an X Scissor to do enough damage to even threaten the Landorus here, but he decides to let the charge move come through, going for the one shield sweep of the opponent's back line. They're getting to another Stone Edge. They should be energy dry at this pace. He's going to hopefully, well, no, he's going to throw that Brave Bird right away, but the opponent makes an insane play, a fantastic catch. I'm wondering if the play here, he's also lacking Earthquake on his Ho-Ho, so it's looking like he's unfortunately going to lose this match, but I'm wondering if the play is shield the move from the Therian Landorus, land the Ice Techno Blast on that, but then again, Sacred Fire might not do enough damage. Unfortunately, this match is going to be over, even though he was able to Sacred Fire and take out the Dialga, but maybe, you know, if he had to, oh, what the heck, he was at the X Scissor. Oh, the mud shot registered first. That was ridiculous. That was actually way closer than I expected it to be. But with, you know, he had Earthquake in that scenario, potentially could have won it the way I was explaining. Regardless, we move on. Sacred Fire has been clutch, and definitely the move to go for on your Ho-Ho. Getting into this next matchup, negative lead, safe swapping into the Genesect. The opponent decides to stay in, going to commit their first shield here after getting the opponent's first shield. with an Ice Techno Blast. I think I'm just going to start saying Techno Blast because if I have to emphasize the typing of it every time and say 3 words every time he throws a move, it's going to make my job more and more difficult. Either way, they finally decide to swap into their Zacian. They're going for a charge move here. Does he decide to shield, or are they at multiple moves? He decides not to shield in this scenario, at least gets the debuff on the Zacian because of the wild charge. Is tried to catch, is going to have to shield here because it's going to be another wild charge from the Zacian. Going to definitely go for the Incinerate farm down. Hopefully they don't get to another wild charge in time. They do not. He's at a shield disadvantage, expecting another mon to come in. Probably not the Dialga because they'd want to keep that aligned with their Zekrom, the opponent B Richley's Zekrom, and it ends up being a Giratina Origin that he throws a Sacred Fire at immediately. Probably assumes that their Dialga would come back in, and unfortunately does not throw the Brave Bird. But going for a Brave Bird here, does it get the opponent's last shield? It does. He then swaps into his Zekrom now that he has an even shielding, really no shield scenario. The opponent's getting to a charge move. Will it be a Draco or an Iron Head? Ends up being the Draco, hits his Zekrom for huge damage, but the Dialga is low in attack now based on the fact that Draco debuffs attack like that. Goes for the Incinerate farm down because that's his only win con. Is this another Draco or the Iron Head? It's unfortunately another Draco, and loses another Heartbreaker by just the slightest of margins. Getting to this next matchup, he has a Zacian on a Zekrom on a Zacian lead. Not looking like the most ideal lead, so going for most likely the wild charge and dip scenario here. Let's see how he decides to play it. He does do that, tried to swap into his Genesect, unfortunately ends up being a CMP tie. They're going for a charge move, ends up being a play rough, and considering he was debuffed, I'm sure that play rough would have one-shot his Zekrom's remaining health, then recognizes his scenario because of the CMP and catches the next charge move, ends up being a close combat. Still a really good play to keep his Zekrom alive. The opponent comes in with their Dialga. He's in an even shielding scenario and is able to get to another Techno Blast that will either threaten the shield, which it did, or do a huge chunk to the Dialga's remaining health or total health. Either way, before he gets Dragon Breath all the way down, he's going for the X Scissor to do a little bit of chip damage before the Genesect goes down. At least has a shield advantage, is going to come in with his Zekrom here. Charge move coming through. Is he going to opt to use his last shield? He does. Unfortunately, ends up being a resisted Iron Head, getting a little bit of lag here. What is the play? He decides to throw the wild charge. Now that we know the Zacian's energy draw, does the Zacian come back in? It does not. He comes in with a Mewtwo, going for another wild charge before they get to a charge move. This should do huge damage to the Mewtwo's remaining health. And did he try to swap? That was a weird visual. It looked like not because Dragon Breaths went through. The Mewtwo throws the Side Strike right away. Big misplay. Regardless, though, Ho-Ho would have taken care of the Zacian because of the fact it's running Play Rough, close combat, and the Mewtwo had no health remaining and no energy after throwing that Side Strike. So really well played by B Richley in that scenario. Getting to this next matchup, another negative lead, save swapping into Genesect again. So it looks like Genesect is just like the optimal play for the save swap scenario in Open Masters, because a lot of opponents are not swapping to even match it. They're just staying in whatever that matchup is when he brings in his Genesect, which still gives his Zekrom a chance to perform well against his back line. So the Dialga is staying in. He already landed an Ice Techno Blast, going for the X Scissor because the Dialga's health is very low, goes for the Fury Cutter down, has to give up a shield, but is able to at least get alignment. Essentially, they come with the Giratina Origin, which is probably also explains why they didn't swap, because he goes for another Ice Techno Blast, gets the opponent's shield. Can he get to another one just in time before he gets Shadow Clawed all the way down? How much damage, or does it get a shield? Huge damage. I would have loved if it one-shot, but that was still a ridiculous amount of damage done from the Techno Blast onto the Giratina Origin. The opponent, he then swaps in his Ho-Ho. The opponent then matches with a Shadow Mewtwo. I feel like he's just going to throw the Brave Bird right away, guarantee the shields, let the opponent take out his Ho-Ho, and then let Zekrom sweep the back line because he's sitting in a pretty advantageous situation. That seems to be what he's doing here. The Mewtwo's getting to a Side Strike, takes out the Ho-Ho. He comes in with his Zekrom. The Giratina Origin is low on health. He decides to shield, which should be another Side Strike from the Shadow Mewtwo. Does he throw a charge move, or does he go for a Dragon Breath farm down? He throws the charge move. Crunch will take out the Mewtwo's remaining health, and then he should be able to Dragon Breath down the Giratina Origin before they can even get to another. Oh, no, they had some residual energy. They will get to another move, but Zekrom is fully healthy and can easily tank it. I guess he could have eaten another Side Strike from the Mewtwo, Dragon Breath it down, and through the crunch of the Giratina Origin. Regardless of the decision, both ways would have worked out, and he wins the match. Getting to the next matchup, we have another bad lead for him. He swaps in his Genesect again, but the opponent decides to actually try to go for alignment and switches while they switch. He goes for an Ice Techno Blast there. I'm just saying Ice out of habit at this point, and they're matching Palkia on Genesect, and that seems to be a more ideal matchup. I don't know exactly how this is going to play out, but because of Palkia's water typing, it's only going to take neutral damage from the Techno Blast, but even then it hits for major damage because Palkia is a little bit glassy in Open Master League compared to its Dragon counterpart. And because he's able to land that, he's able to do a huge amount of damage to the Palkia's remaining health. He's going for the X Scissor here. Will it get the shields or will it take out the Palkia? It takes out the Palkia's remaining health. They then come in with their Dialga. He still gets to another Techno Blast. Holy Christ, this thing is insanely spammy. Gets the opponent's last shields. Was able to steal alignment too along the way because the opponent didn't want to shield their Palkia after he landed the Techno Blast. Actually ridiculous. Dialga goes for a charge move though, ends up being the Draco. The Draco does not one-shot. He then swaps in his Zekrom and the opponent comes in with their Zacian. So how is he going to potentially play this to win this match? Does this Zacian have Play Rough? And does Play Rough do enough damage to take out the Zekrom? It does not have Play Rough. He ends up getting to the Wild Charge or CMP tying. I'm assuming they built the two close combats there. And because the Zacian was debuffed from their first close combat, his Wild Charge is able to take out. He gets to another Wild Charge. It doesn't quite take out the Dialga's remaining health, but the Dialga threw a Draco earlier, so he's going to get to a Brave Bird before they get to another charge move or before they can even Dragon Breath this Ho-Ho down. And boom! He's able to win another match with Ho-Ho in the closing position. But holy Christ, were those some insane battles. Please let me know your thoughts on the battles in the comment section below. B Richly, thank you so much for the submission. Ice Techno Blast Genesect content, highly entertaining, and was able to win with it. So honestly, based on the way he performed and at the Legend Elo, Masters is still around for the next week or so before we jump into the Halloween content. So you need last minute win. You have your Ice Techno Blast Genesect from when it was in raids recently. Could give this team comp a try, potentially for some success. But on that note, thank you so much for watching. Really quick plug, I've partnered with an energy drink company, which you can see in the top right, named AdvancedGG, and I wanted to just say this quickly. If you made it to the end of the video, first and foremost, thank you so much. And secondly, if you want to try the new energy drink, because we announced a partnership for a limited time, literally till tomorrow. I announced this on my Twitch stream, but the YouTube content I get out relatively inconsistently, and I didn't want to announce it when I did the Share the Lore content. Regardless, until tomorrow, if you use code BattleBill30, I will leave the link to the AdvancedGG site in the description of this video, and you could try out a new energy drink. It's clinically proven. It's delicious stuff. It's really quality. I don't want to get into too many details, but you can check it out on their site, or you can come in my Twitch stream and ask me more about it. But I highly recommend their content, their product. I'm drinking some of their taro bubble tea flavor. Delicious stuff. But yes, the 30% off is only for a limited time. So if you want to give an energy drink a try, a new energy drink a try, highly recommend it now. After Tuesday, though, it will go back down to 10%. Also, though, if you want to take part in the giveaway, check out my Twitter. There's an announcement there about potentially getting a gift card to the site if it's a little pricey and you want to try it and potentially get it at a lower price. On that note, though, I don't want to ramble too long. As always, I appreciate everybody always supporting the content here on the Battle Bill channel, especially as I do my best to try to revive this dead YouTube channel with some kind of consistent / inconsistent content. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Preach!